Welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. We are at the Gwen Araujo case part 4. As a reminder, topics may be triggering. Viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. The second trial for the brutal murder of Gwen Araujo began on May 31st, 2005. Everyone had to correctly refer to Gwen as she, her, or Miss Araujo. Michael Magidson, Jose Morel, and Jason Casares were charged with first-degree murder with hate crime enhancements. This trial was all a blame game where everyone blamed each other but themselves for brutally murdering Gwen Araujo. Jaron Neighbors said that Michael Magidson had confessed to strangling Gwen to death. Jose Morel said that Jaron Neighbors had hit Gwen on the head repeatedly. Jose Morel also agreed that Michael Magidson had strangled her. Michael Magidson said that Jaron Neighbors was the one who strangled Gwen, blah, blah, blah. The defense again argued that the men were only guilty of manslaughter, at most due to the, quote, classic state of heat of passion, unquote. At the time, to avoid a mistrial again this time, the prosecutor, Chris Lamiero, said that this was a first-degree murder, but gave the jurors the option to choose second-degree murder for the three and manslaughter for Morel. He asked for first-degree only for Michael Magidson and Jason Casares. On September 12th of 2005, after a week of deliberation, an Alameda County jury convicted Michael Magidson and Jose Morel of second-degree murder without the hate crime enhancements. The jury was not able to come to agreement for Jason Casares. It was deadlocked, meaning 9 out of the 12 jurors believed he should be convicted of murder. On December 16th, 2005, in avoidance of a third trial, Jason Casares pleaded no contest to manslaughter and was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Jason Casares even asked the court to allow him to start his sentence after the birth of his third child, due in March or April of 2006. Yet Gwen had been dead for nearly 4 years. 3 years. I'm sorry, terrible at math. And his request was granted. In January of 2006, Michael Magidson and Jose Morel were sentenced to 15 years to life in prison for second-degree murder without the hate crime enhancements. After the second trial ended, the prosecuting attorney is quoted saying, quote, "Gwen being transgender was not a provocative act. It's who she was. However, I would not further ignore the reality that Gwen made some decisions in her relation with these defendants that were impossible to defend." He goes on to continue saying, "I don't think most jurors are going to think it's okay to engage in sexual activity knowing they assume you have one sexual anatomy when you don't," unquote. After the verdict and the sentencing, Jose Morel expressed feeling sorrow, regret, and remorse for what he had done. Michael Magidson was angry about the verdict and expressed no remorse for murdering Gwen. Jose Morel and Michael Magidson were sentenced to life in prison. Jose Morel was granted early release on parole in November of 2016. Jose was now 36 and at Soledad State Prison. He is said to have shown remorse to Gwen's mom, Sylvia, and she supported the parole board's decision to let him out. Until 2019, she changed her mind, saying that she had now reason to believe he only showed fake remorse in order to get a lighter sentence and early release. Michael Magidson has been denied parole from Valley State Prison 3 times and has shown zero remorse for killing Gwen. Jason Casares, I don't care how you pronounce it, was released from prison in 2012. Sylvia would become an aggressive advocate for trans rights, and she moved legislation to pass a law banning the trans panic defense to be used in court. She also, like I mentioned before, changed Gwen's name to reflect her true identity, Gwen Amber Rose Araujo, and made sure all parties did not then name her at her second trial. An October 19, 2002 SF Gate article by Bay Area true crime legend Henry Lee, Newark Police Lieutenant Lance Morrison is quoted saying, "We're dealing with the murder of people who could have helped, stepped in, prevented, or reported this. None of them did." The same article mentions Gwen's mom talk about how she let Gwen borrow a blouse and a skirt from a friend, Julia Valenzuela. It was Gwen's first time wearing a skirt, and she told her daughter that she was worried the skirt made her look manly. On October 25, 2002, Gwen's loved ones held a public funeral at St. Edward's Catholic Church in Newark. There were protesters in attendance with hate signs. Gwen's mourning loved ones wore angel wings to block the casket from the signs. Gwen was cremated, and her mom, Sylvia, has her ashes in an urn. After Gwen's murder, Alameda County founded TransVision, a tri-city health center that offers social services for transgender individuals. After the 1-year anniversary of Gwen's murder, the Gwen Araujo Memorial Fund for Transgender Education was founded, where the 9 Bay Area counties promoted raising awareness for trans issues. This allowed Sylvia Guerrero and members of the family to speak at Bay Area middle school and high schools. By 2005, Sylvia had spoken to over 20 groups of students. Sadly, this foundation fund was eliminated after the pandemic in 2020. As you can imagine, the amount of lifelong PTSD Sylvia Guerrero and Gwen's other family members have had to endure as a direct result of losing Gwen to violence. Besides her advocate work, Sylvia Guerrero worked as a legal assistant at a San Jose law firm. At one point, she was homeless, and as of 2022, she is living with her surviving son, but has been unable to return to work. In September of 2006, the governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, signed the Gwen Araujo Justice for Victims Act, which limited but did not ban the use of the gay/trans panic defense. It wasn't until September of 2014 that California Governor Jerry Brown signed Assembly Bill number 2501, banning the use of the gay/trans panic defense. May Gwen Araujo rest in peace, and may she always be remembered. We've reached the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for coming down the rabbit hole where I currently live. As always, I accept and respect your opinions. Hit me up at yayareahousewife@gmail.com. I'll see you chismosas y chismosos in the next. Adios.